Voting rights advocates are concerned about a state redistricting case in front of the Supreme Court that could end up having major ripple effects for the Voting Rights Act. Joining me now to discuss is Jessica Huseman, the editorial director at VoteBeat. Jessica, great to have you in once again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So the goal of the Voting Rights Act of the 60s was to protect black voters and other minorities. I know it's complicated, but can you briefly give us an idea of what the challenge here is?
So the challenge here comes out of Louisiana, which was ordered by a federal court a couple of years ago to draw a second majority black district after the maps produced by the state legislature only had one in a 30% black state. And so they did that. Those maps were approved by the legislature in early 2024. And then those maps were challenged by a group of people who described themselves as non-African American voters, saying that those maps diluted their racial group. And so that is the case that is before the court now. And so it's a difficult case to understand because a lot of other cases that have been before the court in recent years will impact the way that this case is decided. Last year, in a case out of Alabama in which the court did uphold Section 2 of the VRA, which is what is at issue here, Judge Kavanaugh, who is very much going to be the deciding vote this time around, said that this, racial sectioning, that it couldn't last forever, right? We couldn't always make these determinations based on race. And so many people see this as his second opportunity to revisit that issue.
So talk to me really how it ties into the Voting Rights Act, and you talked about those previous rulings in 2013 and in 2023. This has national consequences.
Yeah, it absolutely does have national consequences. The Voting Rights Act is the most important piece of legislation that private citizens can use to defend their voting rights. It allows average citizens like you or me to sue under the auspices of this act. But the most important one here for this case is Section 2, which does not allow the votes of racial minorities to be diluted, for their clout to be diluted. And so this section became even more important after 2013 when the Justice Department, when the Supreme Court ruled in Shelby County that cases no longer needed to be pre-cleared by the Justice Department, which was the biggest way that voting rights groups had their voice heard. This is really the biggest lever left. And so if this one falls, we're going to see a huge realignment in the way that voting rights cases are handled.
So as I understand it, both sides argued in court just Wednesday. What happened then, and when will we see or hear a ruling in this ultimately?
It's always really difficult to divine what has happened from the court and the questions that they've asked. I think that it's widely anticipated that this is going to be a 6-3 ruling that the conservatives will lead. Kavanaugh is expected to be the swing vote, but we're really not going to know any of this until June of next year, because that is when the court issues its rulings. So we're going to have to wait a little while to figure out what exactly the impact will be in the long term.
The courts aside, Jessica, there have been a lot of calls for congressional action, but given the control, the power dynamic, that seems like kind of a non-starter.
Non-starter, and even if it was started, I'm not sure that it would end up the way that the folks who are advocating for that would prefer. So I think that this is really before the court for now. The ball is in their court. Let's just use that horrible pun.
Yeah, you and I have talked an awful lot this year about GOP efforts to redistrict. Critics here, predominantly Democrats, say they feel like this is an all-out assault on so many fronts.
It is. It's an assault on lots of fronts, and it's one that's continued for many years now, right? This does not represent an uptick in the amount of litigation necessarily around these issues that we've seen. It's just sitting at the Supreme Court right now. There's $1 billion industry in election law right now, and that's both sides of the aisle trying these cases, but the ones that are specifically impacting the VRA are being brought by the Republicans. But I think that it's important to note that election law and controversies like this have been part of both parties' main platform for a number of years.
Great to get your thoughts. Jessica Huseman with VoteBeat, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks so much.